We trust in technology, facial recognition, artificial intelligence, a digital fortress to keep us safe. But on September 8th in Yerushalayim, that fortress failed. The killers were ghosts, invisible to every camera, every algorithm. So, if our most advanced technology cannot see these threats, what can? The answer is not in a supercomputer. It's been operating inside your own body for thousands of years. This wasn't an attack by a sophisticated terror cell. The killers used a crude, homemade submachine gun known as the Carlo, chosen precisely because its unpredictability complicates security planning. The attackers themselves were ghosts. They were clean skins, invisible to Israel's high-tech surveillance systems. Israel's facial recognition, their AI, their rapid DNA tech, none of it could detect what was not in their database. Technology can only identify patterns that already exist. This is the modern nightmare scenario. It exposes a terrifying vulnerability. How do you defend against a threat that you cannot predict? The answer is hidden inside a system that has been perfecting this exact job for millennia. Your own body. Right now, your body's engaged in a relentless invisible war against threats it has never seen before. This is your innate immune system. Cells like macrophages are a decentralized defense force, constantly moving through your tissues, looking for general patterns of danger. They are a proactive, preemptive system designed for a world of unpredictable threats. This biological blueprint is astonishing, but what if a nation could adopt it as a security strategy? And what if a 400-year-old secret in Jewish law contained the exact instructions? The Lubavitcher Rebbe approached national security not as a politician, but as a master of Jewish law, resting his entire strategy on the supreme principle of Pikuach Nefesh, the absolute obligation to preserve human life. He pointed to a specific ruling in the Shulchan Aruch, the code of Jewish law, that if a border town is approached by enemies, the residents must arm themselves immediately. The Talmudic source uses a city in modern-day Iraq as an example, proving that this is not about the sanctity of the land, but about the universal principle of protecting Jewish lives wherever they are. The Rebbe's brilliant insight was to apply this to modern Israel, declaring that in an age of terrorism, every single city in Israel has the Jewish legal status of a border city. This isn't a metaphor, it's strategic identity. At Remote Junction, this attack was stopped by an off-duty soldier and an armed civilian. They were the nation's macrophages. Modern neuroscience shows their trained reflexes fired milliseconds before conscious thought. The Torah's command to act swiftly against a pursuer isn't just moral guidance. It describes how our neurological survival systems actually function. But this physical defense is only one layer of the strategy. This is the kind of hidden blueprint we unpack every week, finding the connections between ancient wisdom and modern science. If you want to go deeper and get these insights directly, I encourage you to subscribe to my newsletter. The link is right below the like and subscribe buttons. Now, what happens when the battlefield isn't just about the body, but the soul of the nation itself? The Rebbe taught that a nation's ultimate security rests on three pillars: physical strength, spiritual merit, and psychological confidence, which he referred to as the pride of Jacob. Like a three-legged stool, remove any one and the entire structure collapses. But his ultimate strategy was about mobilizing a spiritual weapon so powerful it could change reality on the ground. In 1967, Israel was a single nation surrounded by hostile armies, like one cell besieged by countless viruses. On the eve of the Six-Day War, the Rebbe did not issue a military directive. He launched a global spiritual campaign for every Jewish adult male to put on tefillin. In cell biology, this is a perfect example of signal transduction. A cell under threat receives an external signal at a receptor on its surface, triggering a chain reaction inside. that changes how it's perceived by the outside world. The mitzvah of tefillin is a mechanism for receiving a divine signal. The box on the head, the shal roish, acts as a spiritual receptor for the intellect. As the Zohar explains, this act draws down a transcendent, encompassing light, an or makif, that surrounds the person. This spiritual light projects a new reality outward, literally changing how the body of the world perceives the cell of the Jewish people. This fulfills the verse, "and they will fear you," a phrase the sages in the Talmud explain refers specifically to the tefillin on the head. This result was the miraculous victory of the Six-Day War. The lesson is staggering. The attackers in Yerushalayim were invisible to technology, but no one is invisible to God. Our mitzvos are the signals that activate our spiritual DNA. They are the entangled particles that can bring healing and protection across any distance. The ultimate response to terror isn't just a strong army. It's a recognition that our spiritual actions have real-world consequences, even halfway across the globe. Your next mitzvah doesn't just elevate you, it protects a soldier whom you've never met. That is how we ensure that strength leads to the ultimate peace with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu.